Hey, Seekers of Self-Mastery, welcome back to the Zen Den. I'm joined here today by the amazing and beautiful Margaret Lee. Hey, going, Margaret, what's happening?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, you doing well? You
I'm
doing well? You ready to rock and roll?
ready to rock and roll.
Okay, that's good. So look, we've sort of thrown Margaret under the bus just a little bit. I said, hey, are you free today? Like, let's catch up. And you said, yeah, we're doing it. And then a couple of minutes ago, we're like, what are we talking about? It's like, I don't really know. We'll soon find out. We'll soon find out, right? So, look, like I said to you before, like jumping on this, this chat, it's like the Zen Den was created to have conversations that help people to think dot 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 differently. All right. Now, everyone within the self mastery school is literally, doing that. We're helping people think differently, right? So I just wanted to have a chat and really get to know everyone within the group, but also the wisdom and the what's the word? The genius that every single person has. That's the sort of thing that I want to sort of, bring to light, right? So, Margaret, for yourself, I would love to find out, like, where is it that you're at now? Like, what are you doing in the day-to-day life at the moment? Because we know that there's a big story leading up to this moment, but if we paint that picture now, like, where are we now?
Well, at the moment, thank you so much for having me in the Zen Den to begin with. What a beautiful space you've got there that you've created for us to, come together as a family and just get to know each other and hang out. Yeah, pretty relaxed environment.
Yeah.
Which leads me to where I am now. I'm actually working in corporate Australia in an accounting position, and I've been in corporate Australia for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But it is something that, as you can see, I'm also in the retail sector. So, as you can see, with the way the world is changing quite rapidly at the moment, I had to make adjustments in what it is that I want to do and bring to this world.
Mm.
So that's why I'm in this family today. Thank you for having me, Mr.
Yeah,
Maestro.
you're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. Yes, at the moment, like
But
you're working in the job. Yeah, continue.
yeah, so at the moment I've joined the family, and I came into the family through Phil Hedges, actually, Mr. Kidnosis himself. I think it was a
Yeah.
Facebook post that I saw, and I thought, what is this all about? I knew absolutely nothing about hypnosis before. I thought it was
Who
like
are these
woo-woo
crazy
stuff.
people?
I don't know, what are they doing? I'm gonna cluck like a chicken or something if I do this. But yeah, so I sort of came into the family through that avenue and started doing some of your hypnosis that you've shared. And oh my God, they're amazing, and introduced people to it. And thought, what is this all about? Like, what is it? I've been on a path of personal development and self mastery since I was born. I think we all were,
Yeah,
but started
definitely.
taking it really seriously and having a few aha moments in recent years as a result of life happening for me. So
Yeah.
thank you again for having me in the family, because it's nice to have a genuine place to call home.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you go. I tell you what, it's like we're definitely doing something right because the people in the group, I mean, we got 70 students in the group now, and every single one in their own way, shape, or form, they're legendary, right? It's like people are doing some really, really great things, whatever that looks like, whatever that sounds like. Some people are out there and they're absolutely so-called killing it within business, but then there's other people and they're absolutely killing it in being, the best parent or the best mom or the best dad or the best whatever it is, partner. So
Yeah.
everyone's got their little place, and I think that is truly what like a family is all about. I know for my family, it's like you've got different people that do different things, and that is the balance. That is the variety of, everything, right? So
Yeah, exactly. The beauty of it all is that we're so unique in our own ways. We're all on our own unique journeys, and we can all learn so much just by having a conversation. Like the things that I've found and discovered just by saying hi, and the support. Yeah, it's been incredible. Where were
yeah.
you guys? Thank God I'm here now.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. So it's like or not even some of the most closest connections that I have right now, I've met through trainings and seminars and all these sorts of things. Like when you work with people one on one, especially within NLP, right? It's like within that first prac, you're working with people and you know more about them than what they know about themselves because you're diving into every event that they've ever had, right? And then
Exactly.
for the people that go to master prac and you do the breakthrough experience, which is 8 to 10 hours of one-on-one work with someone, like my best mate now, Jeff, we did our breakthrough experiences together. I know more about Jeff than what he knows about fucking Jeff. And when we catch up, he's like, "Oh, I've got a problem." I'm like, "Good, do this, this, or this." And I know that because I've got this database of what he's done, what experiences he's had, what sort of motivates him, what doesn't motivate him, all these sorts of things. So it's really, really powerful. But for yourself, I heard through the trainings little bits in pieces of your story, and the things that I heard were fascinating, right? So I hope you're going to write a book. Maybe you're already writing a book on it. But what I would love to find out, especially within this session today, is like, how the hell did you get to where you are now? Like, where did it all begin? And we understand that there's many different, there's 100 stories within the one story, but I don't know, take us wherever it is that it goes, right? Where would you even like to start?
Well, I'll start right at the beginning. So, I actually speak three languages, and that is because I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand as my parents were escaping the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, which wiped out millions of people. The
Wow.
first available opportunity to leave the country was to go to Italy. So it was either Italy or America, and
Hmm.
I got the pleasure of learning Italian. So I spent my first 8 years of my life there. And then, life happens. My parents found family. It was quite a challenge for them. So I guess this is why I call my life an obstacle race. It literally, from the moment that I was born, I've been navigating through a country full of literally landmines and just things exploding around me. And I've sort of had to, from very young, learn how to adapt, cope, navigate, and just get through it and show people that it can be done. I mean, I look at my parents and I think, how the hell did they navigate through three countries now with zero Italian, zero English? And so I understand my purpose and why I have such determination to succeed in everything that I do. It was passed down from them to me. Are they
Yeah.
perfect? Who's perfect? We've had our
Yeah. It
differences
does.
growing up.
It doesn't exist, right? It's like, yeah, it just doesn't exist. It's like everyone's just doing what they can. Some days you got the
Hmm.
shits, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, we're all human. We're just, doing the best we can, as we know. But I think for me, look, I had a pretty interesting childhood. A lot of events happened for me in life. I don't look at them as anything that I regret. I look at them as lessons, and it's again just built my resilience, built my character. Given me that determination to just whatever it is that I'm doing, like just go for it. This is where
Yeah.
my lack of fear now comes from with everything. I used to have a fear of heights, so I threw myself out of a plane. But going back to my story
As you
itself, I
do.
know it's one way to face your fear, literally
Yeah.
launch. But look, my story. I've had many lessons along the way, as we do, as people, as children, as everything. And part of my crash story happened for me a couple of years ago. I was in a relationship where I guess he was more in love with the choices he made than he was with life itself or me. So there was a lot of
Yeah. Right.
things that unfolded and happened, and I won't go too deep in the details because, as we know, he's on his journey and I was on mine. But
Yep.
it caused me to really just look at myself and think, and ask myself some questions like, who am I? Who am I not? Why is this happening for me?
Hmm.
What the hell? Like, my life literally went from I'm working in the corporate world, I've got my shit together, I'm about to build a house, I'm engaged to get married. Like, I had everything that everybody thought would make me
Wow.
happy. And it just completely overnight, upside down, just out the window. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what just happened? My world was turned upside down with, all sorts of things. I got dragged through the legal systems, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. I was crushed. I
Yeah.
was at rock bottom. I was at the lowest point in my life. And so I decided to match that vibration and literally go to the Dead Sea in Israel because I thought I want to feel and be literally where it is to be on this planet at the lowest point on Earth. So 432 meters below sea level, I went there. And it was at the
Wow.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
at the,
This is
literally.
epic. I'm thinking, fuck yeah, this is so cool. Keep going.
So literally at the lowest point on earth and at the lowest point of vibration in my heart. I was broken in
Mm,
every way possible. Like I just wanted to give up. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm out.
yeah.
Life's not for me. I was gonna give up on everything. It was at the Dead Sea, ironically enough, that I had my awakening, my aha moment. And,
Wow.
I was able to, I don't know, I remember just laying in the Dead Sea reading my book and thinking, if I floated to the bottom, no one, like, who would know? And then something inside me, a light bulb went off, and I said, I would know. Think about
Wow.
think about where you are. You're literally by yourself. I landed in Israel with no language, no map, no friends, no idea. Like zero clue. I thought just dive into the unknown and whatever happens, happens. My mum was losing it because she's like, what are you doing in Israel? I'm like, oh, I just went for a trip. She's like, what?
As you do. I'm just going for a holiday.
Yeah, but I think it was and I didn't know this. A lot of people do it as a pilgrimage mission. I didn't know that. I just thought I just wanted. I'm a very simple person, so if you ever
Yeah.
deal with me, you'll know that I think very deeply, but I just like one, two, three, I'm good.
Yeah. But I suppose
Um,
like you were on your own mission, right? Like you were on your own, inspired, your own intuition was like, hey, we need to go on a journey. We need to go on the hero's journey. We need to find out who it is that we are. And I mean, shit, what better way to do it?
yeah, and it was quite scary because if you knew me before, I started really diving deep into myself and doing the work, and I do have to thank Joe Dispenza and um, you know people like that just have completely blown my mind. It's him that was initially changed my mind, and I've been able to take everything that I've learned and put it into action.
Yeah.
But it was, if you knew me before, I wouldn't even have traveled like to over the Westgate Bridge to the other side of Melbourne, let alone to a foreign country by myself. So I was that desperate that I just gave up and just went all out with. I have no idea what's there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know shit,
Yeah.
but let's go.
Do you
And you
think
know
that's
what?
fascinating? Most people don't do that. Most people are like, don't do shit, stay at home, shut the doors, and be safe. It's like you're like, no, 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 no. Scrap that. Let's do the opposite. Let's go for it.
Yeah, and I love
Whoa.
what you say about depression. The opposite of depression is expression. And I
Hmm.
think there was something that was inside me, despite what happened for me. I knew that there was that little girl inside me that really wanted to just play, like hit play button on the life and say, whatever, like, let's go.
Yeah.
For some reason, and I've been working on my voice, my throat chakra, and all sorts of doors started opening up from then because I actually went to the birthplace of Jesus Christ as well. I went to Bethlehem. I just crossed like
Wow.
six borders and six different castes to get there. There's all this security stuff that you have to go through in Israel.
Yeah.
But it was always a goal for me to like, I think what I realized was that you can only really rely to get out of that situation on yourself. The only
So
person
true.
that you can honestly just 100% rely on when you need to just reframe your mind and change the way you look at life and the way you receive life and open up everything is you. So
Hmm.
I took that seriously. I took that really seriously. And from that trip, I just set a goal. I said, I want to see as many places as I can on this planet. And I have in the last 3 years. Thank God I did it before, we all, the travel gods decided to take the holiday themselves.
Yeah, I
I've,
know, right?
I've been able to travel to 10 countries. I was able to, I just set a goal and I did it. Like the girl who was never even traveled to the next suburb,
Yeah.
decided to just, yeah, take the horns and go for it. So I went to New Caledonia, Cyprus, Israel, New York, Iceland, Japan, Fiji. I can't even remember, Italy, Spain,
Wow.
to just,
How funny is that? It's like when I was growing up, the first time I ever went on a plane, I think I was 17, and I remember being on that plane, and I went with one of my good mates to Darwin, so from Harvey Bay to Darwin, and I remember being on the plane, and I'm sort of sitting there, and I absolutely scared shitless, right? Didn't know how to do anything in the airport, didn't know anything about anything, and I was like that guy where people are like, over there, buddy, you look like a lost sheep. You're very, very obvious. Go over there, do this, do this, do this. I remember sitting there on this plane, and I'm thinking, oh, this isn't so bad because I had a fear of flying and all these sorts of things, just because of the sheer fact that I've never done it before. And I'm sitting on the plane, and I said to my mate, I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. And little did I know, all we were doing was going down the runway to turn around. And as we turned around, obviously for people, everyone that's been on an aeroplane, we've turned around and the pilot has just absolutely gassed it. I've gone back in my seat, and that was the first moment where I thought, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna die. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. And when you get to that stage where they sort of start to turn, they start to pan out, and you get that real weightlessness. You feel like you're gonna fall through the bottom of the thing. My knuckles must have been so wide from holding on, to bloody dear life itself. But when we landed, I was like, holy shit, that wasn't as bad as what I was, imagining within my mind. The story that I had in my mind was so much worse than what I actually experienced.
It's so true. And that's exactly, I love that you described it that way. When I had a fear of flying, and it wasn't really the fear of flying that I was fearing, it was more the lack of control. And once I got up there, I said, give me the reins. I started doing number eights in the sky, but before that, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to throw up and I'm going to get vacuumed out of the plane. And,
Yeah.
So I guess it's been an epic ride, and I know the beautiful thing is that it's only getting started, and I feel it and I know that and I can see it. I'm just so damn excited now that I've broken through that fear, of doing life, not just fear of flying, or fear of, like, the most comfortable place now for me is when I have no idea what's going to happen. Like this Zoom, I had no idea what I was going to say.
But this is where, like, sometimes it is, and look, we get it, right? Sometimes it's the most confronting thing, because you're like, fuck, what am I going to say? Am I just going to say nothing, and I'm going to choke up? Am I going to pass out? Whatever it might be. But it's never happened. I think about this stuff all the time. Even now, after doing this for a pretty long time now, I still think about all these sorts of things, but it never happens. I've never got to the stage where I'm just like, I've got nothing to talk about. Something always comes out. And, it's a very profound thing to be able to do. It's like, no, take a step back. Like, let your limitations, this is a good one, let your limitations take the back seat and just allow whatever, to happen, right?
Exactly. That's what I've learned in this game called life, because it is a game. Like, literally, pick your player, smash the play button, and go get it. Whatever it is. Like,
choose your character, right?
Yeah, create it. Like, you are the creator, yeah? So, like,
Yes.
I realized that I was holding on to things in that relationship that I was in the journey. Like, I've grown up with all sorts of challenges. People look at me now and they think, oh, yeah, your life is rosy peaches. You live in a corporate world. You work from home now. You're doing your personal development to start your own business. So what have you been through? I'm like, have you got about 65
Let me begin.
years?
Sit down, my friend, and let me begin about a tale.
Take a seat, my dear, and let's go on a journey.
Yeah, it cracks me up. It cracks me up when people say, you might be at a barbecue or wherever it is, and they say, like, so what's your story? Or, what's it like? Where do you come from? What do you do? It's like, oh shit, where do you even begin? It's like, which part do you want? Do you want, like, the good part? Yeah, do you want the good part? Do you want the part where everything goes to shit? Do you want the part where, I felt like tapping out, so to speak? And it's funny, right? Because all these infinite amount of little stories create the one story.
Exactly. It's all like just
crazy
pieces of the puzzle, and I think that's what's happened with me lately. I've discovered that I've got a bit of a connector personality. Like, I don't know how anything's going to turn out most of the time. I just go with the moment, and I'm like, yep, that feels right. That is the right thing to do. It sits good with me, and then somehow it just comes together, and I'm like, I have no idea how I did that. Like, even this journey, so the personal development journey for me, I knew after coming off the cruise with Joe Dispenza for 10 days that I had to do something with the life experiences that I've achieved to date. I had no idea how that was going to look like, but I knew that I wasn't destined to just work in a cubicle and just stare at a wall. Like, that is like, no thanks. I'd rather, let's not do that. So, but I never knew how it was going to fall together, or, and I have no idea how I ended up here today, but it's absolutely perfect that I did, because Change the Game in June was just, I still scratch my head because it happened 2 months ago, and I'm like, what just happened? So, like, I've been whacked with a amazing, like, hello world stick.
So for
But
anyone watching this that is on, you know, the outside of the family, so to speak, like the change the game training or event is a 9-day training where we take you know, students through NLP, talent therapy, hypnosis, and self mastery techniques, all sorts of really cool things to create change within their life. And you know, Margaret, you only did, like you said, 2 months ago.
mm,
2 months ago compared to 5 months ago, surely it would have to be like day and night, like totally different.
totally different ends of the spectrum in relation to how I view the world, see the world. And, people, this is the thing about personal training as well. Like, sometimes you don't notice, but people notice, and I've
Hmm.
had people come to me, they're like, what have you done in the last couple of months? You're
Yeah.
completely different. I'm like, I'm still the same human, but I just have a different perspective on perspectives. It's
Wow.
amazing the skill sets that you adopt without even realizing that it's like just all happening, like, we've learned unconsciously. And I knew that because I've done a bit of inner work, well, a lot of inner work with, Joe Dispenza. So I have a
Yeah.
grasp around it. But even so, like, for me, personal development and self mastery will never stop. Like I said, I
Mm.
started when I was born and it will continue forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, but even the small session that we did, I think I did reset your mindset first.
Yeah, the
And I
1 day
got,
training. Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah,
had
I
a
mean,
few
like that
friends.
was massive, right?
Yeah, I had a few friends, and that joined in, and they're taking massive action with what they're doing. So that, like, I don't know, it's just, if you're ever confused, ask yourself why, and then go digging for that answer within yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how I
because
think it.
yeah, but it's so true, right? Because there's a reason for whatever it is that's happening. Things don't just happen for the sake of happening, although sometimes that's the way that we perceive them. It's like, oh, that just happened. It's like, no, 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 no. Who's the person that made it happen? It's like, well, the individual, whoever's witnessing, right? So it's like things don't just happen outside of us. Like everything's happening within us, but yet we are happening within the outside. So it's a dance between the both. So it's really cool that you know, you said before, when things aren't going your way, ask the question, what the f is going on? What do I need to do? Is there something that I need to change? Is there something that I need to let go of? Is there something that I need to accept? Is there something that I need to do differently? And
Yeah.
then who knows where that road leads to, right? Like that's a road to you know, road to infinity, really.
Exactly. And that is exactly the question. Well, something that I like that I've learned, I think I picked it up on a YouTube clip or something, but Matthew McConaughey said, and sometimes people ask themselves, like, who am I? That's a really hard question to answer. Ask
Hmm.
yourself who you're not. Like, I know that I'm not a lot of things. I'm not going to name things because people are on their journey, but I know
Yeah.
that I'm not this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
And once you eliminate it that way, it's like, okay, so if I'm not that, then I am the opposite of that. And it's sort
Exactly,
of,
by
for
default.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, it's sort
But
of
it's
helped
just,
me.
yeah, like it's so true. People say like, "Oh, I don't know what I want." It's like, "Well, what is it that you don't want?" I don't want this, 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 and this, and this. Good. By default, you must want this. Oh, yeah, I do. Shit. How did you know that? And it's like, well, we only know that by going through the process, by, you know, learning, by failing, so to speak, and trying different things. And I think most importantly, that the number one thing that has stood out so far within this conversation is you said before, it's like, oh, I just had the courage to go and do, you know, whatever it was. I had the courage to step into uncertainty. I had the courage to go and step into, you know, go into the Dead Sea, going on this journey, going on this adventure. And you think of how much, not only of the character that you develop, but how much you created on that journey.
That's exactly what it's about. I didn't have all of this. Trust me. I'll dig up some people. I'll, give you social proof or whatever it is that you need, to show you that this is not the person that was sitting here 3 years ago. I was a completely different, as I mentioned, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally,
Everything.
emotionally,
Mm,
everything broken. But yeah, it takes courage to be vulnerable, and they are the same thing. So
yeah.
um, I don't know. Just if you're not happy where you are, you're not a tree. Move, do something, grow, reach
Yeah.
out, grab someone that you like. Like, sorry, I'm like stalking you, Luke, because I love everything you're about.
Thank you.
you
Stalk away.
know, I no, honest to God, like I have had the opportunity to study NLP with many other practitioners in the past, and you know how it works. Like everybody says, come do my schooling, blah blah blah. But I
Yeah.
do like to get a feel of people before I do anything with them. That's just
Yes.
I work on a heart level. Like if I can't connect with them human to human, I just find it really difficult to be
It's
in
not
that
going to
space
work,
with
right?
them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Especially with
being
this type of work. With this type of work, it's not necessarily like, oh, do this, read this, and then do it this way. It's like, look, the things that you're going to get taught are very important, but the things that you get taught, as in through what you see and what you hear, is not really it's not really what it is that you need. It's very important. It's very important because
mm,
if you didn't have that stuff, everyone would just rock up into a room or onto an online training. They'd be like, well, what the hell are we doing here?
yeah,
But it's everything that happens behind the scenes. It's all the things that's intangible. It's all the things that you can't see. That is what is, that's what, in any field, that's what separates, people apart, right? Or things apart.
exactly. It's creating that human connection, I think,
Mm,
and you just know. I don't know how to describe it. You just know. You feel it, you sense it. Like you feel like I said earlier, like I feel like I'm home. There are
hmm.
so many different people and personalities in here, and I've said it before, like I want to get to know everyone. I love hearing people's stories. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear I know my story. I know what I've
Hmm.
gone through. I know what I've taken on. And what I love about stories is that you can always connect to the emotion in everybody's story. This is why I
Hugely.
love working with the inner child in people. It's everybody's experienced those emotions, and for me, literally reconnecting with my inner child a couple of years ago, I went to Cambodia. I tried to find the birthplace of that refugee camp, and connecting with my family over there was where I realized the importance of, or the value to me of being rich. It's got nothing to do with money. I love
Yeah.
money, but it's got
Hmm.
nothing to do with money. When you've got people that have never been in a swimming pool and you give them a night at the hotel and you show them that, you know, like the smiles on
It's,
their
it's a
faces,
it's a
it's
different
just
world, right?
different world. And then, yeah, growing up in Italy, I had the opportunity last year to go back at the same time that I was doing the cruise with Joe Dispenza, and reconnect with people that I grew up with up to my 8-year-old stuff. And, the first
Wow.
7 years of your life shape you. And
Hmm.
after I've, got to that position where I was broken in every way possible, I thought, when was the last time I was happy? And I thought, when I was a kid, I'm going to go back there. I'm going to literally go, and like I went to the house that I grew up in, and the whole complex is abandoned, right? All the doors were locked except mine. My door was open.
Get
I've
out
got
of
a pic.
town.
I've got a picture of. I just looked at it and I went, how, how is my door open? So I went in there and I retraced my steps as a little kid, going into, like, it was completely abandoned. I thought there was a homeless person in there or something.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember having this dream as a kid. I don't know why. I remember having this dream. I'd always, up until I went to Italy, I've been having this dream, standing at the top of my stairs, the bathroom, and this wolf just running at me. But every time before I'd wake up, before it got to me, I'd wake up and I'm like, why am I having this dream? What does this mean? So I took my meditation skills, stood at the top of those stairs, went back into that moment. What is it that I need to see here? Like, why am I
Mm.
having this dream? And then I realized the wolf was me. It wasn't, it was just, I don't know how to explain it.
Wow. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
So yeah, being able, for me, retracing my steps and reconnecting with my inner child, again, like I went to the Dead Sea, took it and did it literally because I was
Yeah.
able to. I put myself in the position to be able to do that. But
Yeah.
and my godparents are Italian, so my godmother's passed away, but my nonna is still there, and he's got a picture of Uncle Wat in Cambodia in his lounge room. Like, so I went there and I saw him in that. Like, I don't know, just recreating those memories and reconnecting to the inner child just completely changed me. So I thought,
Yeah.
this is what I have to do. This is what
Yeah.
I have to show people how to do.
Hmm.
Being able to hold hands with that little kid and find peace and, go back to when you were happy and live life like that.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do for the world, through education, through inspiring people, through, I don't care, I'll share a lollipop with you, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But it is like it's such a fundamental key. It's a fundamental point of life is, being a kid, but then we get sucked into the trap of you got to grow up, you got to do shit, you got blah, 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 the 50 million different things that you probably don't want to do to start with, right? But then
Yeah.
it's like if you can integrate that child into now the adult, the adult body, so to speak, the adult world, then you can start having a lot of fun because you can choose to play whatever game that you want to play. And it's like, myself having two young kids, I say to Frankie, I say to Rocky all the time, I'm like, oh, what did you do today? And they look at me really weird, and they're just like, we just played. And that's day after day after day. It's like, hey, Frank, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's play. What do you want to play? I don't know. Let's go outside. And we go outside, and next minute, we got a stick and I don't know, something else, and someone's getting hit with the stick, and then someone cries. And I'm like, oh my God, this is life, like in a nutshell. These kids have got it nailed.
It's so true, and it's so important to do that, which is why I said, when was I happy last? How do I do that? What happened to my imagination? Go back there. Like, some of the crazy stuff that I've done is because when I was a kid, I used to love climbing trees. I used to love getting dirty. I used to love getting muddy. I love dirt bike riding. I'm about to get my pilot's license next year. All sorts of things. Like, whatever it is that you wanted to do as a kid, you don't have to stop as an adult. You just got more money, time, and resources to just go do it now.
And more often times than not, you don't necessarily have people telling you, hey, you can't do that. You got to go and do whatever. It's like, no, you can actually choose. Like you said, you know what? When was the last time I was happy? Oh, when I went and did this, this, and this. So it's like, fuck, I'll just go and do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I think like another really powerful thing to think about is every single person, no matter who you are, where you've come from, what it is you've done, every single person has that little kid that we're talking about within, right?
Yeah.
100%. And sometimes that little kid is maybe very wounded. Maybe sometimes that kid is very silenced. Maybe it's very neglected. Maybe it's but sometimes maybe that little kid is not disciplined. And then you get people in their adult life, their inner kid is just running wild and they do some silly stuff when they're older. And it's like, well, what the hell's going on here? It's like there's no structure. You know what I mean?
And that's what I found. Like, I had to go back and just revisit and fix some things and look at things and like, what is it that's stopping me from doing this and that, and just realign that. That's why one of the biggest things in practice that I found was the timeline therapy. I was doing it on myself as well as learning how to empower others with it. But yeah, it's when you do the inner work and realign yourself that I found you just I don't have the word. I don't know.
Look, I get it. Right? People say to me all the time, "Oh, what's timeline therapy like?" And it's like, I don't know. You got to experience it. I've got to the point now. I'm like, look, you've got to experience it. Once you experience it, then you'll have a good idea because it'll be your experience. Because my experience could be very different, And
exactly,
it's like, how do you actually describe that? It's like, well, imagine the best thing that you could ever do within your life. Yep, but that's what it's like. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine letting go of a 20-kilo weight after running through the desert for 3 days. You'd feel pretty good, wouldn't you? It's like, yeah, I would. Okay, cool. Imagine after that, 20-kilo weight being released and you're out in the middle of the desert, now you've got a beautiful bloody fountain or a beautiful lagoon to swim in. You think that would be pretty good? Oh my God, yeah, it would. Okay, cool. That's a little bit like timeline therapy. It allows you to do all sorts of cool things within your own experience.
It's amazing what you can actually start recreating again when you, go back in time. And as myself, I found the point in life where, my voice was silenced. And that, for me, that was the big thing. That was, using your voice chakra. Now people can't shut me up, like shut her up with some duct tape on her face. Now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. But, and then you start, through that, seeing why you made certain choices, why things happen for you in life, for you to learn that lesson. The lesson's going to keep coming until you learn the lesson. I've learned that lesson, many times. So
yes. And that can be rough sometimes, right? That can be rough because I know many times I've gone through life and I'm like, really? Why am I here again? Really? And then you say to yourself, oh, I've already done that. I've already sorted that out. It's like, yeah, but you sorted it out at that level, at this level. Now it's like, 2 or 3 other steps above it that you need to recreate or you need to learn from that same event, that same lesson, whatever it might be.
Yeah, look, it's not really, I'd say to people, it's not easy, but it is simple because, if you do the work, and no, none of it was pretty. When I started doing the inner work, I was like, is that really me? Like,
yeah,
wow.
Like, what is this? Oh, what is?
Refund,
Yeah. Yeah, go for exchange.
But that's the stuff that while I love what we do, while I love the way you teach it as well. It's so simple. Like for me, I'm That's why I love Joe Dispenza. He takes years and years and years and years of whatever he studied and just gives it to me in one book, and I'm like, yes, I don't have
Yeah,
to do
thank you
it,
so much.
all of
Yeah,
that. But that's you can't do the inner work that way. You know, you actually have to do the work
yeah,
in order for it to work. I've learned that as well. You can't just, you know, I love meditation, for example, but you can't just meditate things out. Like it doesn't, because it's always brewing in there. You've
yeah.
got to really, you know, bring it out and deal
There's
with it.
de Yeah, exactly right. And there's definitely no shortcuts. I think like the point in my life where I understood and accepted, okay, there's no shortcuts. Let's just do it this way. And for bloody God's sake, if you're going to do something, let's do it, right, or the best that we can the first time, so then we don't have to keep coming back three or four other times. Because in the past, I was like, oh, let's just, I got to make this table, so to speak, right? Just a metaphor. I got to make this table. Let's just do enough so it holds up. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, but as soon as you put something on it, it fucking falls to the ground. It's like that defeats the purpose of what you did to start with.
that's right.
Now, it's the opposite. It's like, right, no, more foundations, more foundations, more foundations. And then when people are saying like, why haven't you started building the first level yet? It's like, trust me, the foundations are very important. Keep building foundations, then you can build infinite and do whatever it is you want.
Yeah, I love that. And I always say to people, like, would you build a house on a muddy slope? No.
No,
You would want the
you
house
would hope
on a
not.
the insurance company might, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, you would want to set up a solid foundation to ensure that to the best of your ability, you can't stop an
mhm,
earthquake. That,
yeah,
you know, you get the frame right, you get the foundation right, you get the, you know, you can put your family safely in there.
yeah.
And that's you, you know, and that's you. That's if you don't build yourself that way, and no, we don't all have perfect parents. We don't know. Like, you're a parent. Did you get a manual? No.
I've got no idea what I'm doing. Honestly, nine times out of 10, I'm like, I don't know. Is everyone safe? Yes, everyone's safe.
But yeah, I
Is
saw that
everyone is
beautiful.
everyone fed? Yes, everyone's fed. Okay, well, we must be doing something right.
Yeah, I think Little Rocky's got it down packed with his Smashing Pumpkins. Maybe you've been playing that song to him or something.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's his favorite brand. I tell you what, he had so much fun, but it got to the point where I was like, dude, you're 2 years old. I can't let you just run around, because the next thing you would have started hitting would have been Frankie. Because
Oh
obviously
yeah, yeah.
Frankie would have, retaliated, and he would have loved that. So it was good for a laugh, but it was definitely good for a laugh. Hey, question for for people watching is like, what is it that you really want to give to other people? Like, what is it, if you could give people like just a few things, not how to do something, not do this way or this way, but what is it that you would actually really want to give to someone else, do you think, from your experience and your point of view on life right now?
I My mission is to empower people with their own voices. Sometimes they don't know that they have one. You know, a lot
Mm,
of people that I work with have been silenced, like I was. You know, I work with basically showing them that sometimes you need someone to listen and hold that space for you, but you've got everything you need right inside you. And sometimes you have to be the voice for them to see that within themselves. You know, I've worked
yeah,
with people in the past year who, at the beginning of our journey, forget about it. You know, no way. But now I can't silence them either. So, you know, giving them a voice and showing them that they've got that roar inside them and really
yeah,
just attacking whatever it is that they want to go for, like facing those fears and you know, all of that. That's what I want to do for the world. It's my I want to empower people with their own voices to just go chase whatever it is that they want. If you want
yeah,
to be the manager of a supermarket, awesome. I'll do that for you. If you want to, and I've said it before, you know, kick Elon Musk out of his spaceship and say, dude, I'm driving, like, go for it. Just go
yeah.
for it, you know?
You're never gonna know if you don't go. If you don't fucking go for it, you'll never know. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. What have you got to lose? Nothing. You'll learn a whole lot of shit along the way, you know?
Yeah, and it's so
But yeah,
you know it's so true, right? So for anyone watching this right now, thank you guys. Excuse me, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been super cool. But also, like Margaret's saying, it's like, remember that voice is within you right now, and maybe now is that time where you had to get to say to yourself, holy fuck, you know what, I do have a voice inside myself. Or do you know what, I don't like this thing that's going on in my life. Or you know what, I don't like this thing that's going on at work. whatever it might be. It's like, well, maybe today's the day where, you know, things change dramatically, or even just a teeny tiny little bit that changes, you know, the future in a big way. So yeah, any final thoughts?
Show up, do your thing, you know, get creative and press play. Like, let's do life together. Like, life's awesome. I know there's a lot of challenges about it at the moment, but use the time to go inwards and just smile and be a good human being. You know, be
Yeah.
someone that I want to make sure that people look back and think, you know, she just went for it. She
Mm,
just went for it. And I can do that too. If she's done that and she's been through all of that, then what's my excuse? What's my story? Stuff it. Just go for it, you know, like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Go
powerful,
all
right?
in. Go all in if you want to be balling, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, you heard the lady. Get out there, get something done, and you know, be kind to yourself along the way. Look, Margaret, today's been absolutely epic, especially for, you know, a little bit of time ago. I don't even know how long we've been chatting for, but you know, we were like, oh, what are we going to chat about? And then boom, we got it done, right? So look, I think realistically we could chat for, you know, days and days on end, but for today I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your life to shed your wisdom, shed your light, and share your voice as well. I very much appreciate it. And if anyone wants to find or chat to Margaret, I'll have all her links and all those sorts of things in either the description or the post on this video. Other than that, thank you so much for coming into the Zen Den. I had an absolute freaking ball, and I shall see you next time, because I dare say that we're going to chat again very soon. Awesome.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
Margaret.
much.
Talk to you soon.